100 years ago, Nikola Tesla discovered a healing technology that threatened the entire pharmaceutical industry. The day he died, the government seized everything. For 100 years, this technology was hidden. Until now, plasma is back. Tesla Club, tzla.club.
How's it going, everyone? Hope you're well. America says they didn't start the war, but they will finish it. It's like a video game, isn't it, to these people? Didn't start the fight, but I will finish it. Just imagine a school bully coming out with something like that. And also, it's completely inaccurate. Like, you literally did start it. You and your gaffers in Tel Aviv literally started it. You were supposed to be in a negotiation with Iran, and you decided, or rather your bosses decided, that you were going to attack Iran in a preemptive strike, which, as I said in my last video, is just a way that you get to punch someone in the face and attack them, but then still claim to be the victim. And there's deaths on all sides already. See a load of Iranians dead, a bunch of Israelis are dead, Americans are dead, and Trump goes up to the press conference thousands of miles away where he's nice and safe, because he doesn't see conflict, does he? He didn't even see conflict when he was of fighting age and wasn't the president. He had bone spurs or something, managed to miss the draft for Vietnam. It's lucky, innit? But he stood there on the podium and said, you know, I've obviously lost 3 American soldiers. Just the beginning, of course, ladies and gentlemen. But we lost 3 American soldiers. And obviously, you know, condolences go out to the families, but we will lose more because that's what happens in war. Yeah, it is what happens in war. It's exactly what happens in war. Which is why, Donald, people went out and voted for you when you said there would be no wars if you became president. And you knew that, which is why you said it. You had no intention of doing it, of course. You were always going to go to war because your bosses were always going to demand it of you. But you knew that there's no appetite for it among the people. Why would people want to go to war? Why would working class people that are struggling to make ends meet, that live paycheck to paycheck, that just want to feed the kids, put a roof on the kids' head, make sure the kids have got a decent opportunity and chance in life and smile on their face, why would they want to go to war with a country thousands and thousands of miles away that isn't attacking them? They wouldn't. And of course Trump knows they wouldn't, which is why he said, if you elect me, there'll be no more foreign wars. And yet here we are. How many countries is that he's bombed now? And Britain, of course, is now getting involved. As I said they would, because they always follow. Starmer said that they're going to be carrying out some defensive operations. Defensive? Against a country 6,000 kilometres away from England? Defensive? Well, that's amazing, because you're able to carry out defensive operations against a country 6,000 kilometres away, but you can't carry out defensive operations on your own border. And that £50 billion black hole, that disappeared quickly, didn't it? Do you remember when Labour lied to get into power, just like Trump lied to get into power, and said, you know, we'll bring down tuition fees, we'll bring down energy prices, and we won't put up taxes. No, we won't put up taxes, don't worry about that. And then they got into power and they went, oh no, this is annoying. There's a £50 million black hole, we didn't realise it was there, big black hole. So to fill that, we're going to have to put tuition fees up, even though we said we'd scrap them. We're going to have to put council tax up, and then up again, and then up again, even though we said we wouldn't. And we're going to put your energy bills up, despite saying that we bring them down. And people will go, well, how does the government put energy bills up? That's the energy companies. Yeah, because the government increases taxes on energy companies, so they ain't going to take the hit, are they, the energy companies? Why would they do that? Me and you take the hit. And while we're talking about energy, Energy prices are going up already. Fuel prices are going up already as a result of this completely unnecessary and ridiculous war with Iran. No one's winning. No one's winning. Literally everyone is losing, apart from the Epstein class, who are getting exactly what they wanted. But, of course, like I say, £50 billion, black holes disappeared. Suddenly there's loads of money for armaments and the rest of it. And at the same time, as us going out and doing these so-called, you know, defensive operations whilst not manning our own border, it's becoming blatantly obvious why that is. Because we're letting all these people into the country on purpose, and have done for decades. And you can hear them already talking about sleeper cells. Yeah, sleeper cells. We've had a guy in Edinburgh today go mad with a knife. It's happened as well in America, a gunman who apparently had an Iranian t-shirt on. That's convenient. That's like finding a paper passport, that is. And you're like, all of this stuff is all being done completely intentionally. They let all these people in on purpose, despite everyone saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Safe in the knowledge that when the time comes, they can be activated. And then there's chaos on the streets, fear and terror. And then they go, oh mate, this is bad. Right. Well, I've got a few ideas, just get them out of my back pocket. There's a few ideas I made earlier. What about digital ID? We'll bring in digital ID, so then we know where everyone is. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. I know you don't want it, and I know you've said you don't want it, and then we backpedaled on it, but it's different now. Things have changed. And then we go, right, we need to increase surveillance, facial recognition. That's what we need that everywhere. Because we just don't know who these people are that we let into the country over decades intentionally and put in houses and gave mobile phones to. We don't know who they are. Now, a lot of people think that maybe they're importing an army, that we're importing an army over a period of time. And there may be some truth in that, maybe they are. They're all fighting age men, right? But also, you don't necessarily have to, because you can just play the law of averages. If I let a load of people in, and I don't know who they are, I don't know what their background is, it could be anyone. You let a load of them in. Law of averages, on the psychopath test, on the hair test, there's a certain element of those that are going to pass as psychopaths. That's just the way it goes. So if you let everyone in, and don't vet anyone or anything like that, you know that eventually, an element of them are going to cause trouble. And then you exploit that trouble. And what you do is you make sure that everything's polarized, and that's the way it's been. So when it comes on to immigration, for years it's been polarized into two camps, where one side wrongly suggests that every single immigrant coming over is a doctor or a scientist, or is going to culturally enrich our society. Yet on the other hand, the other side wrongly suggests that every immigrant coming over is a terrorist. Neither of those things are correct. There will be doctors, there will be scientists, there probably will be people that will culturally enrich the country, and the fact that they're all right people, decent people, nice guy, lives 2 doors down from me, nice guy. But there will be psychopaths and lunatics that, when allowed in, will create havoc. It's a piece of cake, isn't it? If you're working on a door of a nightclub and you simply allow every single person in, you don't check for knives or weapons or whatever, you just allow everyone in, that guy's got a Man United shirt on, that guy's got a Man City shirt on, let them both in. It'll be fine, let them both in. It's pretty obvious that at some point it's going to kick off, and then when it kicks off you can come wading in with your solutions that are in your back pocket. And that's exactly what we're going to see, ladies and gentlemen. And it wouldn't shock me if we see more and more of it. As this war intensifies, as Britain gets more and more involved in it, as Germany gets more involved in it, as France get more involved in it, suddenly you're going to see these so-called sleeper cells appearing in all these different European countries. And that will cause terror among the population. Understandably, people have got kids, people are like, what the hell? And they will look to the state what are you going to do about it? And they'll go, ah, well, we offered you this solution before and you didn't really want it. But as I said earlier, things have changed now, haven't they? So why don't we come in with this? More draconian measures, more curfews, lockdowns, and facial recognition, surveillance, stop and search. All these things that people have turned their back on and fought against because it's an attack on our freedoms and our civil liberties. Suddenly that kind of stuff goes out of the way. I don't care about my freedoms anymore. Just save me. And they'll be only too happy to offer those solutions. But they're never for our benefit. Tell me a time, genuinely, in the comments, tell me a time that a government saw a situation that they didn't want to exploit, or they saw a situation that they thought, oh, that's quite bad for the population, let's do this to make it better. I'm 44 years old, I can't think of one. I literally can't think of one where the UK government went, yeah, this is pretty bad, let's make it better. More kids in poverty now than any time in my lifetime. More kids on pharmaceutical drugs, suffering with depression, suicide rates, unemployment. Country's on its knees. But like I say, that black hole soon disappears when it comes to go and blow up people 6,000 kilometers away. And also, the excuse they say is that Iran attacked British soil. Well, I'm not sure Cyprus is British soil. But they attacked a British RAF base in Cyprus. And they go, that's horrendous. Why would they do that? Well, because you were allowing US planes to take off from that base to go and bomb them. I mean, actions have consequences, don't they? Of course that's what they're going to do. If there's a base over the other side of that hill and it's being used to put planes in the air to drop bombs on me, and I have the ability to attack that base, I'm going to attack it. And of course Britain knows that, which is why they would have allowed the Americans to use it. Come out in the beginning, as Starmer did, saying no, we're not getting involved, we can't allow the Americans to use it. That gives you some plausible deniability when it all goes south. I was against it, honest, all that gubbins. And then of course the war escalates a bit more, and so Starmer kind of feels pressured, and so he allows the Americans to use the base. Suddenly when the Americans have used the base and then Iran hits the base, because obviously they're trying to stop American jets from taking off to go and bomb them, he's got his excuse now. Yeah, we're in. Defensive operations. When, like I say, you can't even use those on your own border. And he still gets to have that deniability of, I was anti-war, I didn't want Britain to get involved in it. You remember that? I said it in a press conference. Remember I said, let me be clear, and all that stuff. My funny voice. But then they attacked British soil. And that's an attack on us. So now I, as your leader, Chairman Starmer, I need to protect British people. So I'm going to go and forget that £50 billion black hole, and I'm going to chuck soldiers into the theatre of war. And no doubt British soldiers will die as well, along with all the rest of them, as this escalates and escalates and escalates. And then what happens as more sides come in, more countries come in on the side of Israel and America against Iran? Do Iran's allies sit back, safe in the knowledge that another country going down in terms of Iran, and another, emboldened axis of evil is suddenly going to turn its attention to them? So do they sit back and wait for that to happen? I mean, you've already got Israel coming out saying that Turkey's the next one. I haven't finished with this one yet. Or do the likes of Russia and China look at the UK getting involved, look at France getting involved, look at Germany getting involved, and think, right, well, here we go. And then suddenly, what had been spoken about for decades, I mean, I've got a video that we've put up a few times on the channel of Dad talking in 2009, I think it is, where he was talking about the fact that the plan for the Third World War was to have an alliance of Israel, the US and UK taking on an alliance of Iran, China, Russia, I think North Korea maybe as well. And then you look at the grand chessboard now and you go, is that a conspiracy theory now? The fact that China, Iran and Russia have all purposely been pushed together and united through sanctions and other measures that's kind of forced their hand in that sense. As I said in the last video, economists and military experts or whatever were all saying, this is weird, why are they pushing Iran, China and Russia together? Well, because they want to watch the world burn so they can rule the ashes.
Thank you very much for watching and subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you'd like to take a look at all the other things that I do, the content like weekly shows and documentaries that I create, please check out my Linktree link in the description below.